wanted to continue on into John chapter 10. Been looking forward to John chapter 10. There is a huge chasm, stark contrast, whatever you want to call it, that Yeshua seems to illustrate for us in that chapter. Very good word picture chapter. I believe it's verse 6. Talks about how, he said this is a figure of speech, And anyway, I just wanted to introduce it to you. I didn't really want to get into detail, but at the same time, just a little review. And by the way, I know this might seem weird to people, and I am weird. I admit it. I think about the scriptures a lot. I enjoy it, and there's not a lot of people that want to sit on the phone all day long or talk about, and I'm not trying to say I'm better or more spiritual or anything like that. But I could sit and talk to somebody about the Bible all the time, and my wife would tell you that. People that know me, so I realize it. I do this probably. I do it for that one person, or many, that it might help. I put this out there on Facebook right now and YouTube, hoping that my little bit might help. These are just my thoughts about the Bible. And again, that's the reason I end it all the time with take what I say with a grain of salt, because I honestly can be wrong. I've been wrong so many times about what I thought verses meant or passages or anything like that. It's pitiful how wrong I've been. But these are just things I think about. But anyway, we see in John chapter 9 the healing of the blind man. We see there at the end of the chapter they finally finished their interrogation of the dude. They had made up their mind. We don't like you. You're kicked out. We don't like Yeshua, Jesus. We want to hang him, kill him, whatever. We want to get rid of him. And we see that that's what happened. And then we flow right into chapter 10, and it's the same day. He's still talking. He had told them that judgment's why I come. You guys are still blind, and you still remain in your sins. He's still talking to the Pharisees, the false teachers, the false prophets, the false shepherds. And now he's really going to get down into this false deal and distinguishing between them and him. And verse 1, he mentions a sheepfold. And a door. And then he describes later what those are. He mentions about thieves and robbers that climb up another way instead of using the door. And just an awesome word picture. I mean, deep to me. Really, really deep. You might not think so, but I think this is so Jesus. It is so rich, full. And he talks about, it goes on into verse 2. He starts getting into how there's one that enters. There's one that enters by the door, and that is the shepherd. And contrasting with verse 1, that there's others, that come up another way. But anyways, distinguishing between the good shepherd we see, I think, in verse 11, and the bad shepherds, And of course, he's the good shepherd. And you ought to read John chapter 10. If you're going to watch these videos and kind of follow along, that'd be great. But again, I'm going to be talking anyway, because I'm sitting in this truck and all I got is my brain running, and I'm gonna talk about things. So, but anyway, we see that in the Old Testament there was a lot of shepherds. I mean, this is not nothing new, right? I mean, we see that Abraham was a shepherd. We see that his son Isaac was a shepherd. His son Jacob was a shepherd. Moses was a shepherd. And we see that David was a shepherd, right? But the most famous shepherd out of all of them that most people were familiar with was God. He was the ultimate shepherd, right? And so Jesus comes along and he says, that's me. I'm that guy. Once again, declaring who he is. I am the good shepherd. That I am is very, very important that you recognize what that is and that I recognize it. But anyway, a few scriptures you're familiar with, like Psalm 23. He said, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Right? Another place in Psalms. He said, you led your people like a flock by the hand of Moses and Aaron. So the ultimate shepherd is God, and then the under shepherds are Moses and Aaron, right? No different from now. The question is who is your ultimate shepherd? If you're a shepherd, if you're an under shepherd, if you're a pastor of a church, or heck, even doing what I'm doing, I know that people are going to hear what I'm saying, and I know that I am going to be held accountable by my Father with a strict judgment, because I'm practically teaching, right? I mean, maybe that's what I'm doing. I hope that's what I'm doing. But anyway, more shepherds in the Old Testament. The shepherd, the good shepherd, the chief shepherd. It says more in the Psalms, give ear, O shepherd. Something like you lead Joseph like a flock. Joseph is the representation of Israel, right? I wrote this one. I wrote this one down on a piece of paper because there's no way I can remember it, but I thought it was so good. For he is our God, and we are the people of his pasture, and the sheep of his hand. And he goes on to say, today if you will hear his voice, harden not your hearts as in the rebellion. Right? He is the shepherd. But anyway, take everything I say with a grain of salt, and we'll continue this next time. Please give to the widows, orphans, and the poor. They really need your help. Worse than some of these people that are hirelings. Sorry. Love you.